Hello and welcome to our 5 minutes with Ekaterina Ukrainian poetry. Our poet for today is Agatangel Krimський. And the most amazing thing about this poet is not that he was written the beautiful poetry, but that he was a hyperpolyglot and he knew so many languages that nobody at the time when he was living, and he lived in the end of 19th century and in the beginning of 20th century, nobody can count them because there were no smart enough people who were able to do it. Now we have estimations which reach something between 54 languages and 100 languages. Even if we take the lowest point of 54, that's so impressive. For me, it's very hard to imagine how one person can be fluent in so many languages, being actually very limited in his resources. Because at the time there were no internet, there were no radio, there were no TV, nothing where you can hear the languages, and still he managed to do it. And he was working as a professor and as a translator, of course. So it's proven that he knew these languages, and he was traveling a lot, so he can speak them too. For me, it's geniusly amazing. And the whole biography of him is also very interesting. He was born in 1871 in the family of very mixed origin. His father was half Crimean Tatar, half Polish, and his mother was half Lithuanian, half Belarusian. He was born in Novgorod-Volhynsky, which is Ukraine. He said himself that he is Crimean Tatar, but he has the huge love for Ukraine, so he is also Ukrainian feel, which it will probably translated as the person who loves Ukraine and everything Ukrainian. And he did a lot for Ukraine. He literally was the person who stayed in the beginning of originating of Ukrainian institutions, Ukrainian Academy of Science. But at the time when he was small, it was obvious that something very huge will grow up, because he started to read at the age of 3. When he was 3 years old, he already read small texts. When I was 3 years old, I think I played with balls or in the sandbox. And by the age of 12, when the family moved to another Ukrainian city, which is Zvenigorod, he knew 10 languages. I can just read it from Wikipedia. He said that he learns foreign languages which are Polish, French, English, German, Greek, Italian, Turkish, and Latin. And also, at the same time, he knows perfect Ukrainian because it was the language spoken in the region, and he knows the perfect Russian because in his mixed family, this was the language of everyday communication. And here we are. At the age of 12, he knows already 10 languages, and he's not going to stop. He went to the Ostrog gymnasium, and then because in Ukraine he couldn't study, there were no good universities, good linguistic universities in Ukraine at the time, he had to go to the Moscow, and in Moscow he enters Lazarev's University, the Department of Eastern Languages, which means that in addition for 10 his European languages, he started to learn Eastern languages. Then he continues his education in Moscow University, and he studies a lot of Arab languages, which means that a lot of Eastern, he studies Arab language, and in Moscow University at the time he couldn't even pass the exam, so he passes the exam for Arab languages in St. Petersburg University. That's how genius he was. Even the Moscow at the time couldn't really fulfill his need in order to show his languages. After finishing his studies, he started to work in his first alma mater, which was Lazarev's University in Moscow, and he was the head of the Department of Eastern Languages. Being in this position, he had lots of business travels, business educational trips and research trips for Middle East, and he created his best poetries being in Syria, being in Middle East. As I told you, he knew Turkish at the time, and he traveled across this Middle East region multiple times, collecting documents, copying documents, which he processed, which he worked on during his later years. Almost all his life he processed these documents. When for the short time during 1819 in Kiev there was established the Ukrainian Academy of Science, he went there and he was the person who actively participated in its activities, and basically for short time he was the person who managed everything in there. After Bolsheviks came, it was the hardest time for academy. They were in the building which didn't have any heating, and he, as the head of academy, head of department, he had to make the heating himself. They chopped trees, they chopped, some materials that they can burn during the winter. He went across these hard times, but then the Bolshevik repression, all this repressive machine started to move, and he was the person whom you cannot say that he was very hardly affected, probably because he was so intelligent that they didn't want to hit him, they didn't want to harm him at the time. But his PhD students, they were affected hardly. By the time of 30s, he couldn't see because he read so much during his life, so he was almost blind at this time. And he had a PhD student who helped him as a secretary. And Stalin's repression machines, they just took this PhD student and they tried to make him talk some nonsense about his teacher. He refused to do it, and he was imprisoned. His future is not known. We don't know what happened to him after that, or at least I don't know. And this PhD student has a pregnant girlfriend at the time. Agatangel Krymskyi married her formally just to give his name to the son, and he adopted this child. He never had the family of his own, and at that time he was old, so it couldn't be his child anyway, but he adopted the child, and he, of course, he took care of the mother, and this shows how kind he was actually. And then again we see all this absurd of the system, because in 1940 for his achievement this Soviet machine gave him the very high prize. They were praised. He was 70 at the time, and because he was 70 there were large celebration, and they praised him as a Soviet scientist. And then the very next year, when the war started, when the Germany came into the territory of Ukraine, he was took and sent to the prison in Kazakhstan for being Ukrainian nationalist. It was so two-faced, it was so unfair, and he was 71 at the time. Because he was old and it was hard times, of course, and nobody cared about these people. They were just put into the carriages like an animals. They were actually put into the animal carriages without food, without anything, without proper air. He got very sick and he died the same year. He died in Kazakhstan. Nobody knows where his grave is. That's why some people say that probably he died during the trip itself. But in official documents, he died in the hospital, in the prison hospital in Kazakhstan. He left so much after himself, all these articles as a scientist. He wrote that his personal life was sacrificed in order to make Ukrainian science better and in order to help Ukraine to establish its own governance. Also, he always said that Ukrainian language is distinctive, and he didn't believe in the theory of the common origin of Ukrainian, Belarusian and Russian people. He said that the languages are completely different. He thought that the languages are so different that there's no way it can be just one bench of or like three benches of one big bench. And that's why, obviously, Soviets, they didn't like him. But they couldn't do anything before war started, before he was so old, because he was great. And you couldn't just take person and kill the person who knows 56 languages or 100 languages, who's so smart, so talented, and just sacrifice him for nothing. I would say you cannot, but in 1941 they did it. And besides, he was writing poetry, and one of these poetries I want to read together with you. As usual, I would ask you to leave a comment. What do you think about this person? What do you think about the life of Agatangel Krymskyi? Just share your thoughts, share any thoughts you have. Also, don't forget about your likes, and don't forget to check if you're subscribed to this channel. Subscription wouldn't change anything for you, except you have the notifications about the next videos, but it will definitely make me happy. So, let's read together Агатангел Кримський, poetry. Містичне. От Порошинки до Бога. На тему з Джеляледдіна Румійського. Був колись час, що не був я душею, дрібкою фосфору був під землею. Сипався, терся, я геть по світах, та й опинився у батька в кістках. Він мене вилляв з любовним течінням. Я з мінералу зробився насінням. В череві матері став я рослиною. Як народився, зробився звіриною. Далі підріс я і стався людець. Чи ж я повірю, що це вже кінець? Ні. Як помру я, то буду літати, з мене і зробиться янгол крилатий. Тільки ж не хочу я й янголом бути. Хочу ще й Богом себе я почути. Бог – океан, я – одна із краплин, з ним я зіллюся та й стану єдин. Самотою на чужині. Уривки із щоденника. Князеві Олександрові Гагаріну і його жінці Марії на спомин про наше двохлітнє приятелювання в Бейруті. Бейрут у Сирії, 20 марта 1898 року. Ох, арабські фоліанти! Вже несила вас читати, бо розкинувсь сад запашний під вікном моєї хати. Підведу от книжки очі, під вікном ростуть банани. Шелестять високі пальми, мирти, фіги і платани. Є й мигдаль ясно-зелений, єсть і сивая маслина, і акація рожева, і смолистая кедрина. Підійду я до віконця, пахнуть рожі й базилики, туберози і фіалки, і наркотичні гвоздики. І нудьга, немов гадюка, обгортається круг серця. Сам не знаю, звідки смуток, і куди ж до серця рветься. That's it. That was our poems for today. As for me, being a native speaker, I'm amazed how well Agatangel Krymskyi organized these words in order to make the poems so rhythmical, doing it in different ways, in different lengths. And as for the first poem, I think you should be enlightened to show how the person comes from some mineral, from nothing, and goes all this way to the higher level, to the spirit level, and to the God. I'm excited to know what do you think about this poem, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comment box below the video. Thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to my patrons on Patreon. That's because of you I'm highly motivated to create this video, and your support helps me to learn more and helps me to know that I'm making difference creating them. If you can, consider supporting me on Patreon, or just subscribe to my Patreon channel. That's how I would know that you do really like this video. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to meet you very soon. Goodbye.